This is Grammar Galaxy Nebula Volume 1. And in today's Flip Through and Review, we'll be going over the Mission Manual and the Adventures in Language Arts textbook/workbook. Grammar Galaxy Nebula 1 Homeschool Kit includes the Galaxy Grammar Nebula work/textbook and the Nebula Mission Manual, which contains fun, innovative stories to give a more in-depth explanation of each lesson. And now let's talk more about Nebula Volume 1. Nebula is the perfect place to start for beginner reader and writers in the first and second grade, but it can also be used as a workbook and refresher for kids up to third grade. And it's also a great grammar refresher for those older kids. And as a homeschool mom of 3 kids with all different levels and grades, I feel that Grammar Galaxy for Language Arts is a great resource to use together. For my preschooler, the work may be too difficult or challenging to understand, and for my eldest who's in 5th grade, he has already learned this concept, but together they all really truly enjoy sitting together, listening to the stories in the Grammar Galaxy Mission Manual. And there are 3 siblings who have to solve some of the most crazy grammar issues happening on different planets, being set off by this crazy gremlin character. And my kids love it. They are 3 siblings, so they each take a role, and sometimes we'll make it like a play where my daughter says the Queen and Ellen roles, and then my eldest son will take the boy roles and I'll narrate, or we just really make it a fun time and a great family quality time reading these stories. And then my daughter does the work with me or on her own, and she's capable of understanding the lessons and doing the work on her own, but I do sit with her and make sure she gets a thorough understanding. Now let's get back to the Galaxy Grammar Workbook. Nebula Volume 1 has 36 missions, which is 1 for every week during the school year. And after about every 7 missions, there is about 1 or 2 challenges or tests about everything that your child has learned. And after every mission is the answer key, so there's no need to purchase a separate teacher guide or any other additional resources. But there are additional links I'll tell you later about throughout the text. Nebula Volume 1 is the first in a series of language arts textbooks and is for students 1 through about 3rd grade, but can be used up to 6th grade. And it teaches reading skill development, literacy concepts, vocabulary, spelling, grammar, composition, and public speaking, all while having some great fun. Grammar Galaxy also includes helpful web links within the text for additional free resources. And some of these web links have additional audio books that your child can read that goes along with the reading that is taking place in Grammar Galaxy. One website that is shared in the text has multiple audio books that coincide with the lesson being given in Grammar Galaxy. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a few of the links listed within the text down below in the description so you could take a look at them afterwards and see if that's something that you would like to do and how to enhance your lessons as you read. And just speaking about websites, I just want to mention that if you prefer, there's also an ebook and e-manual that you can purchase online. It is more expensive than purchasing a secondhand workbook or textbook, or just purchasing online, but it may be worth it if you prefer doing homeschool online, or you don't want the hassle of storage and clutter from books being all over, especially if you're in a smaller living space or don't have a homeschool room. This may be something more for you, but personally, I love just having textbooks. And now let's go ahead and go over our list of pros and cons of using Galaxy Grammar. Let's start with the pros. First, the innovative, ingenious way of storytelling used to teach language arts that keeps any child engaged while having fun and just really excited to start your homeschool day, especially when they're going to start with Galaxy Grammar. 2 is affordability. Whether you buy it from Amazon or eBay to Rainbow Resources, no matter what your budget is, you'll be able to catch a copy of Galaxy Grammar. And since there's no need of a teacher's guide, it is affordable for most families. So that's why I really love Galaxy Grammar. And last but not least, this last item is on both my pros and my cons list. But let me tell you why this is a pro first. The lessons are short and sweet. That means the lessons can be tailored to your individual needs. They can be spread out over a course of a week, or it can be completed as little as in 1 hour in one day, depending how you want language arts to look in your house in your own homeschool. So for that, I really appreciate that you get the extra time, or you can use that extra time to add additional resources with every lesson or day in your homeschool. Now let's go over the cons list. I only have 2, so this is a short list, but let me share with you some of the things I wish I could change, but even then, I still love Galaxy Grammar, whether they make these changes or not. Con number 1 is that there are very few illustrations in the mission manual, and they are black and white as opposed to being colorful and having far more frequent illustrations. But because of the affordability, I assume that's why there is no color, and it's cheaper to print this way and keep the costs down. As I mentioned earlier on this video, this is on my list of pros, but it's also on my list of cons, because depending how you see the issue, maybe a pro or a con. So the con is that the lessons are very short, but the worksheets are also very small. So it can be done as little as 15 minutes per chapter if you really want to go fast through each chapter. But I just feel that I always have to add extra YouTube videos or supplemental readings or additional resources with the web links, because I want to make sure that my kids get the proper amount of practice and are really getting a full understanding of what we're learning. Now let's get into Grammar Galaxy Adventures in Language Arts, the Mission Manual. This is meant to be a read aloud to your children, but if they're a strong reader or more advanced or in an upper grade, then they can read it on their own or with you. The Mission Manual is meant for beginner readers or advanced first and second graders. It's designed for a teacher to read the text and provide as much help as needed for the students who are not yet reading at a strong third grade level. I use it with my second grade daughter, and we read it as a play. I narrate and play some of the boy parts if my eldest son is busy with his own homework or he's just not around to read it with us, and he narrates the boy parts. And my daughter, she normally reads the female parts, which are the Queen and Ellen. In these short comical stories, they teach concepts in a memorable way where students, side by side with their guardians, love to undo all the crazy chaos caused by the gremlin who is wreaking havoc through all the different planets and is tampering with the English language. And if you don't buy this Grammar Galaxy Homeschool bundle together, finding the mission manual can be a bit of a challenge, but you can still get through the lessons without using the mission manual. It's not quite as fun, but it is very doable. I would recommend pairing it with another language arts workbook that may give more assistance on teaching these lessons. I used this one with my son when he was around first or second grade, and we used this workbook without the mission manual because I wasn't really sure how to use this program in the beginning, but we actually used it with Gum Grammar, and that was phenomenal for us, and he loved it. And it was also short and sweet, to the point, and each lesson was just about 5 minutes along with the Grammar Galaxy lessons. So I really recommend trying to get the manual, but if you can't, I'm going to be posting a few chapters here and there throughout the year, and I'll go ahead and link them in the description once they're completed, so you can get a few chapters. And if you don't have the manual, feel free to pause anytime and just enhance the picture and read from this book that I'm posting here. I'm flipping page by page. Pause and read out loud with your children. That way you don't have to not have the mission manual, still get the lesson done, and it's a win-win situation. So I would recommend it that way in case you can't find the mission manual or maybe out of your budget at that time. So that's another way to get through Galaxy Grammar without actually purchasing the mission manual. Just pause it right here and read from the page. And as we go through this flip through, keep in mind to look at each and every page. Maybe try to glance at some of the vocabulary words or the end of chapter questions to see if this would be a good fit for you and your homeschoolers. That way, mid-year, you don't have to make any curriculum changes and you will have a smooth, successful academic homeschool year. And I'd like to take the time to say thank you for sticking through the entire flip through with me. And I hope this has been a tremendous help in picking your next year's curriculum. And if it has, it would mean so much to me if you give me a like and subscribe and leave a comment down below.